part of why I wanted to talk with you today is because I really appreciate, first of all, you thinking of us. I know you're a strong part of the community already, and you're overqualified, I think, to be doing this kind of assessment for us. But you offering that generously was very amazing. It speaks to your character, it speaks to who you are. So I already appreciate that. But being able to see how you professionally approach these, I already knew, I think, based on the way you've been so systematic in the approach, you lead with a lot of compassion and empathy, which is not something I would normally think of if I were to hire a contractor. I don't associate those qualities usually with somebody who's you're asking to do, an exchange of work with. So that approach already was so interesting because the kind of the thought-provoking questions that you were asking talked about emotion as much as it was as like logistical needs of what I needed from a marketing standpoint, from a strategic standpoint. So that was already an interesting part of the process when you were asking all of those things. So yeah, I think if you want to is there something that you want me to specifically talk about, or just?
This is already so good.
Yeah. So that's like in the process of how you started it was really, I think that was an important thing. It was a different approach. I've met with, the closest that I can say is more like a marketing person.
Right.
And yeah, we've had talks with marketing people that might have touched on some of these things, and in the very beginning might have talked about that. But I think the real proof of what you do is because not only did you ask those questions in the beginning, but as you did the analysis, as you went through and you did interviews with people, you addressed all of those things too. But what was powerful was that you also provided strategic ways to find solutions. So there's just something about your whole process that I thought was really good, and I think it was very unique. And again, I've never really talked with somebody in this kind of, it was a research and action, right? And that says a lot about what you're going to do. A lot of people do research.
Right.
A lot of people might even come up with a strategic plan.
Right.
But you have actually, you've made it into bite-sized nuggets so that they can be actionable items that are not overwhelming. It doesn't require me to hire some new other consultant or something to do that. So if I could just talk about the process. So like I think when you talked with myself, Nam, and I know you brought in the other team members as well, I could tell that you understood that the perspective from everybody was going to be unique and different, and it wasn't just one person that you needed to talk to. And you were very good about giving everyone a safe space to talk with you about however they felt they needed to see representation of who you interviewed. And I remember as a team, the team was asking, these are the people. I was like, well, I think Sean had the approach where we all individually choose. And the reason why is that I shouldn't influence your choice, you shouldn't influence mine, because our perspectives are different from who the members are. So I think you already had that insight, which I think that I completely agreed with, and I think that was just a wonderful way to kind of set the tone for everybody, that it's their own place also, that they can express that, hey, these are maybe some pain points or maybe some opportunity points that I don't know if everyone else on my team thinks that. So that was already a great way to approach it. I think that also you taking care of the entire process was kind of amazing. You gave us kind of the opportunity to give a little bit of framework in the beginning, but when you came to us, you had it so well structured and organized that it was super impressive, actually. And I know that you do this as a profession, but again, never having gone through this process before, it was very easy to follow. I felt very guided because it's almost like when you're someone who's like running a business, I wouldn't know how to say, well, how am I going to analyze what my customers need or how to improve it? I don't really have the tools in my tool belt to do that. I just know that I'd like to improve it, but you made it into a way where you gave it really great structure to guide us so that you could then go out and be the representative to gather that information for us. Now, I can't speak to what that process was for you when you interviewed. Of course, we got to see some snippets of those interviews. I can only imagine how thoughtful and systematic you were in that. I'm sure that it seems like you got lots of information from people, so I think that you probably have a really strong gift for being able to interact with people that way. I could see that the way you interacted with our team. So I think from the standpoint of, as a business owner, I feel very supported in the process. But I guess my point is that you interacting with the customers, what I'll call the customers, the members, I feel very safe.
Yeah.
That I felt like they were in good hands and I could trust you, because obviously some sensitive things could be discussed during those conversations, and you never maybe even wonder like, oh my God, is this going to make some things surface that, oh my God, this can unravel something, or will the members feel exposed or not? Nothing like that ever even crossed my mind. So that says a lot too, because I think that I didn't realize it until yesterday when we had our analysis, or when you were doing a debrief with us, that, oh wow, really the trust that people had to have in having conversations with you was pretty deep as well. So I really appreciate that you bring an energy and a thoughtfulness to conversation that never had to even doubt or question that. So I really appreciate that. The nuts and bolts of the debrief that we had were incredible. Like, I feel like the fact that you were able to take things like conversations around emotions and actually make them into taskable items and action items, I think is not always easy. I don't know, it wouldn't be easy for me to have a conversation and say, well, what actions can I take? But not only do you not come, I mean, you came back with a list, like a long list of like, I don't even know. I mean, there's spreadsheets and presentations and lots of data that I'm going to have to go through for based on what you had discussions on. And the fact that you were able to really, and it's not, in no way is that a lot, it's actually wonderful because I like that. It's almost like, wow, that time that was spent has given me so much information that I can look at. And even in our debrief, I already have 2 pages of notes of things that was already kind of exciting me as opportunity, and that's without even having had a chance to read all your notes. It's just based on the conversation. So I guess my point is that I was blown away, not knowing exactly what the process was going to be, but blown away that, wow, this is a really great service that you provide, and that you're a unique person to do that. It's not just about the service, it's actually you being the facilitator for that. There's something very powerful for that. There's a trust in there, there's a gift on how you do that, and you're compassionate, but you're smart, you're analytical, and you know how to kind of push without it being pushy, right? You're gathering more information because you understand that you're looking at it from your research mind and your understanding of people's emotions, and that's based on all of your background. That is a gift. And so I think that your service is amazing. I'm actually really excited to further work with you because now that I'm trying to digest these action items, I feel like you're going to probably help on making that, even putting them in little clusters now, so that maybe 5 items can get put into something. So I'm excited about the next part of what we're going to be talking about too. I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking. But
this is
because these are things I was thinking about yesterday.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I shared that with you because I feel like if anyone were to look at your business and look at you as hiring you, I think there's something very unique about you. I don't know who else is in this space. I know a lot of people can do research. And when I think of those types of companies, I think of like the big consulting firms. And I feel like it's a very distant, very analytical, without this kind of compassionate action item area. And I think there's something that's very great about what you're doing, but also accessible. Like I feel this is meant for businesses like mine that are small businesses. It's not just the big corporations. It's not like a big banking firm saying something with the customer experience. No, you're letting me as a small business owner, I have a team of 4 people where we don't have the bandwidth to do it, or there's burnout, or whatever it is, right? We're the doldrums of having a business for so many years that, yes, I'd like to make the customer experience fresh, new, exciting, but sometimes you need someone from the outside to get everyone excited again, or to give us some items that doesn't feel daunting.